Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to review on camera and do a test, a wear test. We're gonna do it all today. Of the Hourglass foundation, concealer, foundation brush, and concealer brush. So I'm going to be reviewing the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. I'm going to be reviewing their concealer and also the foundation brush and the concealer brush. So I'm kind of going to be talking about 4 different things. And just a little spoiler alert, I like 2 products, I don't love 2 products, so my opinion kind of splits here for these 4 items. Anyway, without further ado, we're gonna jump into this video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'm really excited to talk to you about the newer, some are new, some are not so new, but the 4 Hourglass items that I have here today with you in this video. Yes, let's start. Alright, we're going to start by testing out the Hourglass Ambient Foundation. This is what it looks like here. It's got a pump, which is really great. And I'm going to be using the Hourglass Foundation brush, which I'm also going to quickly review along with the concealer brush and the concealer. I have to say that just like right off the bat, I love this brush. If you're not in the market for a foundation brush, I guess skip the next 30 seconds, but I just want to give a shout out to the brush because it's really, really great. I used to use a makeup sponge, but because I have acne prone skin and because I prefer to wash my makeup sponge right before I use it, it just becomes like a hassle. And so I was in the market for a really good, not a dupe, but something that would replace my makeup sponge, but that would be a brush, and I think this is probably as close as I'm going to get. It's a beautiful foundation brush. It's got soft bristles, but it's got shorter bristles here, which makes the buffing and kind of the blending of the foundation really easy and smooth. It's got a point with longer bristles, so this becomes more of like inner corner situation, softer blending. This works really, really great, especially for if you have like a lighter concealer, something that's like liquidy. You can even use this as a concealer brush as well. I do that in a rush sometimes if I'm like getting ready in the morning, and if I just wanted something quickly underneath my eyes, I just use this instead of like a separate concealer brush, although I have that from Hourglass as well and I love it. But this works really well for just kind of like a very quick, easy blending. I'm gonna show you this brush in a second, but I just want to say that this is a really, really great one. It's expensive. I don't like to spend a lot of money on brushes, but some brushes I feel like are worth the investing into because they're just like so good and they make a difference in, you know, the application, and they should last for a long time, hopefully. Anyway, so I'm gonna use 1 pump. It's kind of a thicker formula, to be honest. Like, I thought it was going to be a thinner formula just because of Hourglass. For some reason in my mind, Hourglass foundation would be a thinner formula, but like you can see, it's kind of keeping its shape. It's not very runny. And I've got this little guy here, so I'm going to show you how much coverage I guess this foundation has. So this is 1 pump, but like I don't think I pressed all the way down, so it's kind of like a shy pump. And I really want this to be kind of a good everyday foundation. That's why I got this. You can see how beautifully also this brush is blending the foundation. I mean, this brush is amazing. So when I first tried this foundation out, I was expecting it to be a little bit more runny, a little bit thinner, and it's actually kind of thick for what I imagined it to be. So you can see the difference on this side, no foundation, this side has foundation, and it's not like it's cakey on the skin per se, but it definitely sits on the skin more so than I thought it would from Hourglass. I mean, Hourglass is like such a great brand. I love it. I love so many products from the brand, but I've never tried a liquidy product from Hourglass. I've only tried powders, and the powders I feel like from the brand are more of like a beautiful finish to the skin. They're not meant to conceal your skin per se. They're meant to kind of enhance your skin and give it a beautiful finish. So I kind of thought that this foundation would do something similar. Obviously, you're looking for some concealment in the concealer. the name says it, but same with foundation, but just in a way that kind of enhances your skin rather than just like a mask. And I feel like this foundation just kind of sits on the skin. Sorry, I was looking in the mirror. It disappeared for a second. Yeah, it gives coverage, but it just kind of sits on the skin, and it's a little heavier than what I want it to be. Okay, so before we do the concealer, I'm gonna quickly show you what the foundation looks like on the skin so you can have like a closer, up close look at the foundation. So I don't know, I feel like it's a little bit heavy on the skin. It looks like you're wearing something. It shows up on the skin more than what I would like it to show up as at the level, if that makes any sense. And I also feel like the coverage is a little high because I just feel like it looks like I'm wearing foundation, whereas I would prefer it to look like my skin naturally looks good. And your skin isn't like one color throughout, and so yes, you want it to, I think, look a little bit even, you know, evened out, but you don't want it to look like one color literally, because that doesn't look natural. So yeah, it's kind of a balance, and I think it's halfway there, but it's not fully there for me. So anyway, let's dive into the concealer. I already opened it, and let me just close it and show it to you. So this is what it looks like. It's beautiful packaging as always. Hourglass does a great job with packaging. The applicator is great. It's a good shape for this concealer. It feels really natural and easy to use. I think it's called a doe foot applicator. I'm gonna try to do like a little bit of it, not too much. I do dots. I feel like this is the kind of concealer that lends itself to dots. I don't know if that makes any sense. And I'm going to use the foundation brush just to show you how it performs with concealer. And on the other side, I'm going to use the concealer brush. A little goes a long way with this one. Again, I've used it a couple of times before making this video, just so I kind of understand it a little bit more, so I kind of got to know it a little bit. And it wasn't a love at first sight. It doesn't make me feel like, wow, it's making my skin look good, it's making my under eyes look good, but it does have a good amount of coverage. The finish isn't too bad. It's kind of like it's a natural matte finish that leans a little satiny, but not too satiny. Like, it doesn't feel like, I mean, I have oily skin, and I tend to be you know, I don't like super glowy, glossy finishes, and this one is definitely not too glowy or glossy. But anyway, so this is what it looks like. Let me go ahead and apply this concealer on the other side, and I'm gonna use the concealer brush. The foundation brush is great, but again, because the bristles are softer towards the pointy side, which is what you're going to use to blend underneath the eyes, it doesn't blend as well. So you either have to blend a little bit more and put a little bit more work into it, or you have to have a concealer that's just a little bit lighter and easily spreadable, if that makes any sense. But I think it's still a great brush. And if you're in a rush and you're, you know, have this brush in hand and you're just done your foundation, it kind of makes sense to use the same brush to blend the concealer. But if you want, this is a really great brush as well. I love it. I've had it for probably a year now, maybe more, and this works really, really, really well. It's not a pointy shape like the foundation brushes, but it works well because the shape just also seems to be able to get in all the corners and just spread things out really well. Like, it has the edge, it's not a pointy edge, but it does have an edge here so that you can get, you know, here and here and here and here. It sort of mimics your finger. I mean, sort of, right? It kind of like has that effect, and I think this is sort of mimicking your fingers too. Like, if you were to spread the foundation with your fingers, which obviously is not a great idea because it's not going to work that well, but it's sort of trying to kind of, I guess, biomimic a little bit in a way, but like make it better. So yeah, that's, I think, the idea behind the brushes, and they are executed so well. Amazing brushes, really like top notch. And I don't normally rave about things because nothing's ever good enough for me. I always find something to complain about, or something that can be improved. But the brushes are just truly superb brushes. Great brushes, beautiful as well. I mean, like, luxurious. I washed this brush a lot and it's been holding up really well. This one I've only washed once so far and it's been kind of holding pretty well as well. So yeah, that's a great one. I'm also gonna try, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try and apply a little bit of this concealer on my pimple. I'm very particular about the kind of concealers I use for my acne. Most concealers will not work because acne concealers are, I feel like, different than the rest of the face. They have to be really grippy and really high coverage, but also blendable and just the perfect shade, because if it's not the perfect shade, it's not gonna work. But actually this sort of works. So okay, so my camera just cut out there, but I did conceal my acne spot here and then to here, and this works pretty well for acne. But again, I just feel like it is heavy on the skin. Like, both the foundation and the concealer, they sort of work. I don't feel like they're completely like, what is going on here? Like, I don't understand this product at all. Like, I understand it, I just think for my personal preference, they're a little heavy. I mean, the concealer is kind of heavy as well. I don't know if it's just my preference or what I'm looking for, but I feel like it kind of looks heavy. It feels like I'm wearing a heavy amount of makeup, so I'm not a huge fan. But I am going to do a wear test just to show you what everything looks like at the end of the day. And I'm going to quickly finish my makeup now and show you what how everything looks like with the makeup and all that, and we'll go from there. This is it. This is the final finished look with the Hourglass Ambient Foundation and their concealer, which I don't think is the Ambient concealer, but I will link the ones I'm talking about down below anyway. So my thoughts on the foundation and concealer, I think you kind of already know them. My personal opinion is that even though I love Hourglass and I love the look that Hourglass goes for with their makeup and just the quality packaging and that luxurious feel of Hourglass, I think the foundation and the concealer, to me, both feel a little heavy. Like, they just feel like a mask on the skin, and that's not what I would expect from Hourglass. All right, so that's my final thoughts wrapped up. I think the foundation and the concealer should have been a little lighter in formulation and a little lighter in coverage so that they would look a little bit more natural and kind of like second skin as opposed to a layer on top of the skin. But you know, this is what it looks like, so maybe for you this would work beautifully and it's something that you're looking for. It's just, for me, this wasn't what I was looking for from Hourglass, unfortunately. But I do see how someone might like both of them. It's just not the look I'm going for. So I guess you can kind of make up your own mind as to whether or not this is going to work for you. But I will do an update in probably 6-7 hour update just to show you how the foundation is doing at that point. And I will see you in a second, but for me it will be 7 hours. So see you in a bit. All right, I am doing the promised update. It's been about 6 hours since I first applied the whole makeup, but specifically the foundation and the concealer. So I just wanted to show you how everything is lasting. And I will say, surprisingly, that I feel like once the foundation and the concealer melted into the skin and I started to produce a little bit of oil, it actually looked a little better, but I still feel like it looks kind of heavy and just like it's sitting on top of the skin. So still not a fan of that, but I just wanted to, I guess, show you up close how everything is looking. Let me fix my hair. That's looking like crazy, but all right, so this is the concealer. I mainly applied this underneath my eyes, and I don't know if you can see this on camera, but I just feel like it's kind of sitting on top of the skin. It's grabbing onto the dry patches and it's not helping any sort of texture. And then the foundation, you can probably see it around here. It just kind of looks cakey, maybe is the best word to describe it. It's not lasting terribly. I will say after 6 hours it's looking okay, and actually from afar I feel like my skin looks pretty good, but up close you can definitely see that there's a layer of makeup on, and it's it's not very pretty, and you don't have to get that close to see it. You can kind of see it when I think you would be talking to someone and they could probably see the makeup. I also feel like, you can't see it on camera, it actually looks pretty fine on camera, but I feel like in real life, the color may not be the perfect color for me. That, and also I feel like it's just the coverage is too much, where again, if you want the extra coverage, it will probably work great for you, but I feel like it just has too much coverage, where if your neck gets a little red or your chest gets a little red, or it looks like you have literally one color on your skin. And I don't know, maybe I'm not used to wearing foundation, but it doesn't look great. I'm all for even skin tone, but not like having a mask. So even though I love Hourglass as a brand, I have a lot of their products. I think they're a great brand. I don't think the concealer and the foundation are, or at least they haven't worked for me, or they are not what I'm looking for personally. So you know, they're just a little heavy and a little full coverage, and just feel like they sit a little heavy on the skin. But maybe that's what you're looking for, maybe that works for you. Everything else about the products work great, and I do think the brushes are amazing. I love the foundation brush and I love the concealer brush, and I think those are top notch. But unfortunately this did not work for me, which is so disappointing, because I feel like Hourglass is like, it's the kind of brand that I wish would come out with concealer and foundation that would be like Hourglass standard and Hourglass, like, I guess standard, because that would be amazing. I mean, that would just be like beautiful, sheer, enhancing, kind of just your skin but better type of a finish and look, and it wouldn't be full coverage. So Hourglass, if you're listening to this or watching this, or you know someone that works for Hourglass and can make a product happen, I think we need a beautiful light to medium coverage so it looks natural on the skin but not too heavy, or maybe buildable, but definitely something that's sheer so you can sheer it out, and something that has a beautiful finish, not too matte, not too glossy, something that works for everyone, and that does not look like you're wearing makeup on the skin, or it looks very minimal, or at the very least looks smoothing. And we could use a brightening concealer, not too brightening, but just like a little brightening with no parabens and no talc, nothing bad in it. I think that would be a really great product direction in my opinion. But anyway, so that's my end of the video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this one, and I'm curious to know if you've tried any of the products I'm talking about today and what you think about them, because obviously people are different, they have different thoughts, or maybe the same thoughts, I don't know, let me know. Anyway, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm gonna end this video before I start talking and talking and talking for hours about nothing. But anyway, I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.